I'm Patty Rose with Cool 102.7 and StarTime 1590 local radio stations welcoming to Camden the EQUUS Film Festival Camden Tour Stop. It's this week, February 13th through the 19th. The EQUUS Film Festival is the first touring film festival oriented around equestrian-themed content from all over the world. There are feature films, documentaries, shorts, music videos, commercials, training educational materials, art, and literacy. 2016 Winnie Award winners and select special films are touring Camden February 13th through 19th with film showings at the Little Theater, art exhibits at the Artist's Attic and Rutledge Street Gallery, and other locations in Camden, and a children's literacy corner this Saturday at Books on Broad at 9 a.m. All of the kids' events are absolutely free, so please plan to bring the kiddos out on Saturday. For a schedule and list of events, go to EQUUS Film Festival Camden 2017.eventbrite.com. I'd like to welcome Janel Del Castillo. Thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon, Janet.
It's a pleasure.
I understand that you have a book and a pilot film in the EQUUS Film Festival.
That's right.
And the title of your book is The Backyard Racehorse. It's a training manual.
Correct.
And it's kind of interesting. Can you tell me why you wrote this book and how it came to be? You said it was just sort of a default.
It was
moment
default.
in your life.
I ended up in a situation where I had 3 children, a small farm, and a few racehorses. And foolishly I said, oh, I think I'll train racehorses. And I do not recommend that anyone think that they can support their children training racehorses.
Right.
It's somewhat like buying a lottery ticket and thinking that you're going to be okay.
Right.
So with this in mind, with my small farm, I thought, why can't I train on my farm and then take them to the racetrack? Because the racetrack is very expensive and the racetrack was hours away from where I lived. Many years ago, I was in the Peace Corps.
Right.
And what we taught the people in the Peace Corps in the little village where I lived was when you had lemons, you made lemonade.
Right.
And the whole concept was you do with what you have and make it work. So I thought, here I have a small farm, I have a few racehorses, and with that, I started galloping my own racehorses in the orange groves. And then I graduated, I had my kids help me break them, and in those days there were none of these wonderful books and videos that are all over about how to break a racehorse or how to break any kind of a horse. So we did a lot of really scary stuff with horses flipping over and my son accusing me of trying to have him killed because I put him on a tough horse. But eventually I learned, because I knew nothing about racing, I learned how to do things, but first I had to do them wrong and be laughed at.
Right.
Well, in the training process, at one point I was galloping a horse that actually came from around here, and it turned out he was a rogue horse, and he, at 35 miles an hour, ran me into a tree.
Oh my
So
goodness.
for a year, I was crawling around and I was thinking, how can I support myself? And I thought, well, I guess I can write a book. So I sat down and I wrote down everything that I did not know when I came into this business. Mm-hmm. Now, I was a competent horse person, but I didn't know all of the funny, strange little things that go on the racetrack. So my book is trying to explain how you adjust and adapt and evolve from what you have here at the farm into the racetrack. And racing right now needs new owners, it needs new trainers, and we really have to become more friendly to the equestrian population. And I tell racing, you should market your product to the pleasure horse industry. There are so many people in rodeo and hunter jumping and all these different fields that could be a part of racing.
And they're already familiar with the horse.
Well, they have the horse, they have the trailer, and I'll tell you something that nobody thinks about. If your goal is to have a horse who makes you money, you can tax deduct all of your expenses. So you have your farm. Now, I'm not the IRS, and you have to follow their rules.
Right.
But the fact is, you have a farm, you have a trailer, you have a horse. You can use that horse to help you train your racehorse. And you're going to find this shocking. I bet you did not know that you can buy a lovely yearling for as little as $2,000 or $3,000.
No.
Yes. At
I always
Keeneland.
thought you had to have $20,000 or $30,000
I know it.
to buy a nice horse.
That's right. So you can go to Keeneland or you can go to OBS, which is in Florida, and you can buy a weanling or a yearling, and you somewhat grow up with a young horse. Now, you have to be competent, of course, because thoroughbreds, really, they're lustier, for want of a better term, than most. But you can do a lot of this training yourself. And if you're capable of braking, or you have a competent person come in to brake, following a program like mine, I don't tell you this is the only way to go, but this is an alternative way to save a lot of money and have your horse ready to go with a solid foundation, doing it at your farm. My farm is 10 acres. I used to gallop them in the orange groves. Friends of mine gallop in the vineyards. Others, a friend in Oregon gallops up a hill, and when the horse can go up the hill 4 times, she takes it over to the track. So it's like, you know how you do skiing and you do it on machines in your house?
Right.
It's that kind of a concept. You can do foundation at your farm, and then when you think your horse has a good foundation, talk
Then
to a
you can
trainer.
move on.
And then say, okay, give him 2 months at the track, and let's see whether he's worth going on, because many are called and few are chosen.
Right.
It's upsetting how many racehorses that cost a fortune don't make any money. So from that point, you get an idea, does he show a natural gift of speed? Because I don't care who the trainer is, if the gift of speed is not in the horse,
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter how good a trainer you are. So your goal as a trainer is to develop your horse soundly into his own personal best. And you put the clock to it, and if it looks like he can make you some money, you continue. If not, you take him home and make him a hunter jumper, make him a trail horse, but you haven't lost everything.
Right. And you haven't invested
Oh,
multiple
so much, yeah.
thousands of dollars training a horse that you're not sure of.
I'll tell you, from training at the farm in many places can be as much as $70 a day at a training center. And at the racetrack, it can be as much as $120 or $130 a day.
Wow.
But there's room for us. There's room for the little person, and that's what I keep wanting to encourage. I want people who have what I call the black stallion syndrome.
Right.
I always dreamed of having a
racehorse.
racehorse. They'll say to me, and I say, well, you know, we
Here,
can do this.
read my book.
Here's my book. Follow
Perfect.
this.
That's right.
Well, and let me tell you, the horse on the cover, just so you know, there is a God. Paul Marriott of Marriott Hotels
Yes.
donated this horse to a children's home where I was volunteering because they thought it had no talent. And I trained her myself in the orange groves. I hauled her over to the racetrack, and she became a fabulous, wonderful stakes-winning horse.
I bet Paul Marriott was so
You know what?
disappointed.
You know, he'd show up.
Would he really?
And
Did
interestingly,
he know the horse?
oh, well, he named the horse. He named the horse First Prediction. And when I saw that, I thought, I wonder what kind of a prediction it's going to be. But she literally saved my farm. Every time I needed money, I'd load her in the trailer, drive 5 hours down to Miami, and race against the best horses in the country and be there. So she, another very interesting thing about her, which I keep wanting to share with people, is she ran completely sound and completely without any medications. I want people to know that if a horse has talent, they can run with ability. And your job is to develop that ability without breaking them down in the process.
Right.
So she ran over 100 times.
Wow.
Now, an average racehorse today, you're lucky if you get 6 or 8 races.
Really?
Well, they push so much when they're young, you know, and there are many reasons why they only race 6 or 8 times, and certainly one of them is they may not be fast enough. So
Right.
at that point, you say, well, let's put them in another life. I can't spend any more money trying to win. And that's one reason you don't see them go on. But there are many horses that are very talented, and with a little time and good foundation could last for years.
I see.
So she taught me that, and I wanted to share it with other people, that you can have a racehorse. She ran about every 2 weeks, and if she didn't run, we had problems. So she was an inspiration for all of us.
Oh, what an amazing story.
Oh, it really
Thank
is.
you so much, Janet, for coming and sharing your story and your book with us. And I understand that you also have a film pilot here at the EQUUS Film Festival.
Yes, and gosh, it's called Backyard Racehorse.
Go
And
figure.
we show a couple of people who are training in their own backyard and hauling over to the racetrack. For all of these people out there who say the racetrack is a little bit unnatural, we can say you can have your horse be a racehorse and be a horse. It can be turned out every day, haul him
Right.
into the track. I mean, there are many ways that you can have a racehorse. So the film shows people doing that and
Well,
shows you
that's-
how.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And so folks can look for that on the schedule, on the film schedule. Be
Yes.
playing at the Little Theater here in Camden. Janet, it's so interesting. I feel like I could talk to you all afternoon and learn.
Oh, you're
and learn
great.
And learn.
Thank you so much
It's
for the
wonderful.
opportunity.
Well, we're just thrilled to have the film festival here in Camden again this year, and looking ahead to next February as well. I understand that we
Oh,
already
wow.
have it scheduled for next
Wow.
year to come back. So,
well, I
perhaps
may be here next
That's
year.
right. Perhaps we'll see you again, and just, what an incredible concept and a great story. I really appreciate you sharing it with me. Folks, if you want to join us in Camden this weekend for the film festival, let me tell you, you can get tickets at the event site, which is the EQUUS Film Festival Camden 2017.eventbrite.com. You can also get tickets in person here in town at the TAC Room, the Camden Archives, the Rutledge Street Gallery, and the Little Theater. There is a Film Festival headquarters. It's at the corner of DeKalb and Broad Streets in Camden. It's the white buildings, 1050 Broad Street. And when you stop in there throughout the festival, you can pick up schedules, maps, information on the different panels that we'll be hosting over the weekend. And updates on the different films and descriptions of all the films. If you're
Yes.
having a hard time figuring out, 45 films is a lot to choose from and I only have so much time, you can find detailed descriptions both at the website and at the headquarters over the weekend. Films run Friday and Saturday 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. We have a $50 weekend pass if you want to come for one day or the other, Friday or Saturday. It's $30 a person. We also have $20 evening tickets available with evening activities starting 5:30 on Friday, 6:30 on Saturday, and then $10 single film tickets, which I learned is not just for one film, but the films are structured in blocks,
In blocks,
in 2-hour
yeah.
blocks. So
It's
if
for the
you
whole
pay
block.
that $10, you're getting a block of films. You might see 2 or 3 or 4 depending on the length.
And they're themed blocks.
And they're themed blocks.
Yeah.
So I know, for example, we have a Camden themed block.
Oh, that
is
would be fun for
the
everybody.
filmmakers that are from this area.
Yes,
And they're
yes.
blocked together. And I'm sure that they're blocked according to maybe different topics or things that folks are interested in seeing. So
That sounds
thank
great.
you so much. I know I'm so excited that y'all are here again, and we'll look forward to seeing what comes in the future with the film festival. Janet, thank you so much, and what a great concept again. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed talking with you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Coming out and see us in Camden.